Go. You're in the Recruiting Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're the 2 o'clock.
Yes, I am.
Here are your hosts, Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer. Brought to you by Bubbles and Blocks.
Welcome into the Recruiting Hour. Mike Schaefer, Jake Sorensen here. We are switching it up on a Thursday. Jake, how you doing?
Doing well, Mike. Good to be here. Glad to be here this morning.
Are you getting yourself prepared mentally for your first ever experience at the world's greatest water park, the Pawnee Plunge, which will be happening tomorrow on Friday, as there will be a 4-hour opening splash from 2 to 6.
I don't even know how to prepare myself. I've been excited all week for this occasion to go to the Pawnee Plunge and to see what you've always been raving about, saying it's the best water park, not just in the state, but in the world.
Galaxy sometimes.
The Galaxy, I got to see what this looks like. I've driven by it before, never actually stopped there, so tomorrow's the day to actually do that and see what it's all about.
Tomorrow very much is the day, and that will be a lot of fun, and we're excited to see the good folks of Columbus, and we're inviting anyone and everyone. Come down, join us at the Pawnee Plunge, America's greatest water park. You can see for yourself. It won't just be me reading it out loud. You can physically see it for yourself. You can experience the flow rider. You can hit the water slides. You can listen to Happer and I talk about sports. There will be some special guests coming along as well, including Ernest Hausman, Nebraska's linebacker commit out of Columbus High. He is set to join. I got to lock in those times here today with him, but be exciting to get him on the show.
Is this announcement the opening splash today?
Yeah, we can call this the opening splash. I actually had a couple other things, so we'll morph right into it. Amir Dendy, a 2022 athlete out of Pendleton, South Carolina, was on campus on Wednesday to work out for Nebraska's staff. Remember, it is not the dead period anymore. They can have players on campus. Nebraska will have several players on campus, including Maverick Noonan, who we spoke to yesterday at the Warren Academy Future 50. Maverick Noonan will be watching practice on Friday. They'll have a number of guys, I think, in watching practice on Friday as well. But Amir Dendy worked out for Nebraska. I have not heard how that workout went for him, so hoping to get a little bit more information there as well. And then there was Watts McBride was on campus. That is a 2023 defensive back. Yes,
Watts McBride.
Watts McBride out of Iowa. He earned an offer at Nebraska's Friday Night Lights camp, the second one in June. He caught the attention of one Eric Shenander, who worked with him pretty closely throughout that camp, and then made the offer after. So McBride was back on campus yesterday. So Nebraska having a few visitors in. Obviously, things have been fairly quiet in terms of the recruiting, so we'll see how it goes. But we know that they want to have some visitors, of course, as practice kicks off. Today is sort of the unofficial start of fall camp, if you will. Jake, you have Fan Day tonight. You have
big fan of Fan Day.
Are you a big fan of Fan Day?
Big fan of Fan Day.
What's your favorite part about Fan Day?
When it's over.
Are you going to be there tonight?
No, I'm not going to be there. I'll be there in spirit, though.
On the morning show, you were telling everyone how busy you are and how you're not going to be able to golf today.
Yeah, well, this is part of my busy day is doing the show. Then I've got a lot of this is sales time. We got a lot of people coming on the air. We got to make commercials, get stuff sold. It's exciting. If you want to join us, you can still come on the air. I'm always accepting new clients. I don't do that very often. I don't plug that.
Yeah, you can do it. You can use this show to plug for your clients.
Just
your advertising literally could be right here on this show.
You could be. It could be on Early Break. Could be on The Drive. Could be on DP and Stevens. There's a lot of options for you.
Yeah. How do you make sure that you're passing the ball around? You're distributing to all the different.
Listen, I am a facilitator here. I like to think of myself as Chris Paul.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You're
short of my
punching
title.
in the junk around here.
I'm not punching anybody in the junk.
Well, that's what Chris Paul does.
I don't do everything that Chris Paul does.
Okay,
I like to pass the ball around.
Are you like Cliff Paul?
Yes, Cliff Paul is probably more like me. I'm a good insurance agent here, and I can help you out.
I can see you as an insurance agent.
Yeah, I've been recruited before to be one.
You've got the look down. You're always wearing the polo.
Oh, is it because I got glasses? Schaefer, is that why? Because I've got glasses?
No.
Is that the look?
Sometimes you wear contacts.
No, I don't. I just don't wear any glasses at all.
Oh, okay.
Like this. See, I can still see.
Yeah, a little bit.
I can see.
I'm over here.
Oh yeah. Hey.
There I am. Yeah, that's me.
No, I can see. Just 'cause I got glasses, I could be an insurance salesman. That's
I've
right.
seen you out though, where you're just not wearing glasses. So you just like there's times where
That's
you'll.
when my vision is not that bad. If I just don't want to wear glasses
Okay.
with the vibe that I'm in or the people where I'm at, I don't always need to wear them.
I feel like it's also times where I see you when you're enjoying yourself a little bit.
Yes, exactly.
And
Yeah.
so
if I'm out in the town, I'm probably not wearing my glasses.
Does the alcohol actually correct your vision?
No, he doesn't.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Your stigmatism or whatever it is actually corrected by the more you drink.
I don't think that the eye doctors would appreciate that if I said I don't need your glasses. I just drink more.
You could be a medical marvel.
Yeah. I don't think that anybody would appreciate that. Say, hey, this guy drives better when he's drunk.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I try not to.
Oh, no, I don't. Actually, let me rephrase. I do not appreciate that.
Thank
do
you.
not
Yeah,
drive
I'm not,
while
I
drinking
just said I don't do that.
or drunk.
I'm smart. I'm a
yeah.
smart person.
It was more so that your vision is better. Maybe you get to like Superman vision because you're throwing back some Coors.
People always they look through my glasses. Number one, they say those things are dirty as heck. How can you see? That's the first thing. The second, they'll say there's not much correction here. I'm like, yeah, I know. That's intentional.
How often are people looking through other people's glasses?
Well, not very often, but usually they want to see mine because they're always filthy, and I never wash them or clean them that much. So that's the reason why. And then I say, well, just look past that and see the actual specs.
Did you ever have rec specs as a kid?
No.
Or did you always wear glasses? When
I
you
didn't wear
played?
glasses until I was in high school.
Okay.
So,
But like if you played basketball or something in high school, were you wearing glasses?
I didn't play basketball in high school. I wasn't good enough. Am not
Did
good
you ever
enough.
do like intramurals or anything?
Well, high school there's not intramurals. There's
Well, we
sports.
had intramurals. Nice.
Columbus was bigger than Beatrice. Congrats to you. I know
Better, too.
tennis and golf, believe it or not, you can play with glasses on in both those sports.
I suppose.
If I played basketball,
tennis, you'd look better with goggles, I think.
is that right?
Yeah.
If I was playing intramural sports, which I have in years past in Lincoln, I would put I wouldn't have Rex, but I'd wear these glasses and then have something that ties
Like
the
a band?
glasses on. Yeah. Now that's pretty embarrassing and nerdy, but I don't care. I needed to see.
I wear headbands all the time to make sure that I didn't lose the
the
ability
headband
to
is
hear.
cool. There's nothing nerdy
No
about the
one
headband.
thinks that a fat guy wearing a headband is cool.
Listen, I've always thought you looked cool in your headband.
No, you haven't. No one does. Oh man, I was
Don't
more
tell me.
self-conscious about that when I played basketball than anything else, including the fact that I have no definition in my arms until you're wearing like the basketball jersey, and it's just like, I probably need to actually make it to weights. I should do this a little bit.
It's whatever works for you, Michael. Whatever works for you.
I suppose. All right, so today's show, we're going to have Mike Sauter on. We'll dive into his thoughts on the Warren Academy Future 50. I have a few thoughts on a couple of the guys there that particularly notable targets for Nebraska that I'm going to dive into here a little bit as well. And then I want to talk some Nebraska basketball because we have Sorensen sitting in. He's a big Nebraska basketball guy. I'm wondering if this offseason has just refilled his cup of Kool-Aid. He was pretty down last year. I mean, I don't know if people remember Jake Sorensen in January and February, but it was at the point where he didn't think Nebraska was ever going to win another Big Ten conference game.
True.
He didn't know if this was going to work. He was questioning everything. And as established on early break this morning, Jake, a bit of a reactionary type.
Yes.
So-
you figured out me to the perfect example. Yeah, you figured it out.
So we will get him to react about Nebraska basketball here in just a couple minutes because, like I said, I'm very curious where he lands after this offseason because it has been, I think, an overwhelmingly positive one, despite a couple departures, but nothing that you didn't see coming and no one that couldn't be replaced. So we'll dive into that conversation for a bit for the next couple minutes, though. I want to talk about a couple of the guys I talked with yesterday. So if you missed yesterday's show, first of all, shame on you. Second of all, get to theticketfm.com. You can go to the podcast page, pull it up. You can find Wednesday's show. It was one of the better ones I think we've had with the recruiting hour, and I'm not just saying that because Happer and I were split up and we didn't have to talk that much. It was because we had an opportunity to actually just sit with some different recruits, hear from them about what's going on in terms of their recruitment, how they're handling stuff like NIL. I'm never going to get that right unless I really slow it down.
NIL. Nil.
You know, how they handled the pandemic, how they handled sort of recruitment. We got to hear from a variety of guys, a couple guys in the Class B ranks, a couple Class A's, and one guy from Iowa. So it was an overall great experience for us at the Mark yesterday. But two of the guys that I spoke with are really important targets for Nebraska, and so I just kind of want to highlight on them specifically. But Maverick Noonan for 2023. So Nebraska already has Ben Bramer, who I think is going to be the best player in the state for 2023. I think he should be a top 100 recruit. I'm going to continue to work with 24/7 Sports on this, even though Ben Bramer probably isn't going to do camps. Everyone I have talked to, including Thomas Fidone himself, basically feels like Ben Bramer is a better than he was version of Thomas Fidone at the same age. We will see if it plays out that way. He's obviously just entering his junior year, so a lot of lead time left. But the next best player in the 2023 class as it sits right now very well might be Maverick Noonan, who has a ton of interest from schools in the Power 5. And he's also hearing from some others like Notre Dame that have, and Oklahoma that have shown him interest as well. And so this is a guy, Maverick Noonan, I believe his latest height and weight, he's 6'4", 240, somewhere in that territory. Doesn't look it. I mean, he's got a pretty good frame. Looks like he could easily put on a few more pounds if he wanted to. But the most fascinating thing to me out of that conversation, he's 225 listed on 24/7 Sports, which might fit a little bit better. Most fascinating thing in that conversation for me, Nebraska sees him as an outside linebacker. I thought for sure he was going to be sort of a defensive lineman that they would build up into being around 280 in that neighborhood. But at 6'4", 225, he could be an outside linebacker for you. I mean, we know, Jake, that this has been a position Nebraska has struggled with, whether it's inside their own borders or whether it's when they're recruiting outside of it. They have yet to kind of find consistent pass rush from any singular outside linebacker. Maverick Noonan, again, 6'4", 225, coming from Elkhorn South, got to spend all of last year going against Teddy Prohaska in practice. I mean, that's a pretty good way to get better as a pass rusher. I just think this is some pretty interesting stuff as it relates to Nebraska. And as we know, I mean, that pass rush is just going to be important, and it's going to be a key factor until they finally have it in spades. And I don't know if anybody ever does in college football, but it feels like Nebraska, more than any other program, has just struggled to find consistent pass rush.
Well, we've asked for it for years. Randy Gregory was the last great one you had. We know he had his issues at Nebraska, but certainly a fantastic talent when he was on his game. But you're right. I mean, Nebraska has not had a guy since then, and you've seen them not been very good. They've been an under 500 team, and it's been more than just not having a pass rusher. It's been obviously offensive issues and turnovers and things like that. But you can really fix a lot of your problems if you get somebody that can get home and wreck a ball game for the opposing opponent, and that's that's something that Nebraska's been missing. And you're right, they've been desperate to get one of those guys, and they thought they've had some guys that maybe could build up to that in the past couple of years. Hasn't been that way so far. So if somebody would step up in fall camp, or if you got a couple recruits in the horizon that can assist there, but as we all know, everybody in the nation wants a great pass rusher, and they will go to the places that consistently will develop them properly and get them to the next level. So it's hard to get the premier ones to come here, but can you find a diamond in the rough, or can you find a guy that's maybe just overlooked and is actually pretty good?
The task for Mike Dawson is he's always going to have to be able to develop these guys. I just don't think Nebraska is going to be in a position in which they're getting these freak athletes that are going to come in and just be instinctive great pass rushers. I think it's something that they're going to have to learn. It's something that Nebraska is going to take guys that played different positions in high school and ask them to be outside linebackers. So it's going to be more of a build-it approach, and it has been. They just haven't hit in terms of having these elite pass rushers. We'll see if something's on the horizon there, but Maverick Noonan could be the next one Nebraska really targets in on. I know they want him quite a bit, and like I said, he'll be there on Friday. It sounds like this recruitment could go for a while, though. I mean, he mentioned Notre Dame and Oklahoma yesterday. He had a great visit with Iowa State and Matt Campbell earlier this week. He's getting down to Missouri, it sounds like, this weekend as well. I don't know what's happening in Columbia, Missouri, but Eli Drinkwitz has things going in maybe the best direction we've seen since, like, Brad Smith was a quarterback there.
Hello.
So I don't know what it is about Missouri, but, I mean, Deshaun Woods is committed there. Isaac Zadichka is a walk-on there. And then, of course, they've just pulled a number of great players in the state of Missouri and surrounding areas. So whatever's happening for the Tigers is going very, very well right now. And so they're certainly a team to keep an eye on as it relates to Maverick Noonan.
What's your best explanation for that, for Missouri? What do you think?
Well, I think, Drinkwitz is a coach that does a nice job getting himself – he's sort of He's got a little, not much, just a little PJ Fleck in him. He's a bit of a salesman.
Okay.
And then you throw in the fact that they had some success early in the SEC. He's had success in his career at other places. And I anticipate that they're just selling like, hey, we've got this thing going. This is SEC football. We're able to stand up and beat an LSU. We can hang with these guys. Come join the program. I mean, the pitches are never that intricate. It's, hey, we've been successful. We know success. You want to be successful, and we're good at continually contacting you. We're good at evaluating. We want to build the relationships, yada, yada, yada. So, and one thing that Missouri has going for it is that is a big state, population-wise.
Yeah, it is.
That only has one major college football program.
You got KC, you got St. Louis. It's
And
two
so
big markets there.
They could be, if we were talking about potential schools that could really benefit with NIL stuff, Missouri could be one of them. You notice how I slowed that down?
You got it.
I sound so dumb when I say
you paused,
it. Yeah.
and you said
NIL. Yeah. All right, next guy I want to hit on here a little bit, Davon Hall. Looked tremendous yesterday. I mean, he's only 15 years old, and he already is one of the most physically gifted players, I think, in the state of Nebraska. Bright kid. He's got a great future ahead of him. We hear Coach Huffman on this show rave about him when we've had him on a couple different times. I really like the future for Davon Hall, and I think Nebraska is the school until it's not. He's got Iowa, Kansas State, and Nebraska right now. I think he's got a pretty good relationship with this staff, but I think more than anything, he grew up a Nebraska fan. I think it means quite a bit to him, and if they can show some positive signs in the passing game, it's only going to reinforce the interest that he has. I think most interesting for me with Davon Hall, he's expected to kind of step into the Keegan Johnson role, and Keegan Johnson did a lot for Iowa, or he hopes to do a lot for Iowa, did a lot for Bellevue West. We'll see what he does for Iowa, but there's some production that's out there for those Thunderbirds, and they're going to be really, really good this year, and I think Davon Hall will be part of that. But he is a 2024, so we were talking 2023 and a 2024. Those guys are really good, so I know there's a lot of hand-wringing about what's happening in the state and losing guys like Devin Jackson and Deshaun Woods and Caden Helms, but I think Nebraska is in pretty good position for these future classes with some of these guys I spoke with yesterday. So I wanted to hit on that a little bit. All right, moving to basketball. I mentioned I wanted to talk to Sorensen about this because, again, he is a bit of the reactionary sort. He struggled a little bit this January as Nebraska did not play very well. I think he bounced back briefly in February when they showed some signs of life. How have you handled this offseason? Remember, we sat in roughly these chairs, and I drew you the picture of the house for the first year, and you had wondered if they could be like a fringe tournament team, and I scoffed at it. Then I drew the house of going about 500. They didn't get close to that. Last year they didn't get close to that.
They did not.
So why, Jake, should we temper our enthusiasm, or should we just let it flow based on how things have gone for Nebraska basketball this
I
offseason?
think you should always let it flow, Schaefer. Don't stop the flow here. I know I sound like I'm influenced by something here. Under the influence, I'm not. Let it. Why stop the flow, man? Let it flow.
It has been a very good
People
offseason.
can be as optimistic as they damn well want to be.
So, okay, so what things that have happened this offseason have you enthusiastic about Nebraska basketball? We'll just put it that way.
I am enthused by Bryce McGowens. I think he's going to be great at Nebraska. I'm not sure it's right away if he needs a little time to get it going, but I think he's going to be a really good player.
I think the best thing with Bryce McGowens is that he could be great, but they don't have to have him be great right away because they have some of these other pieces that theoretically could help out pretty early and allow him to kind of work into being a great player. It's a difference, just the difference of getting someone like Alonzo Verge at the end of this cycle, and you can put him in. He's going to take up minutes, and he's going to have the ability to score, and he can facilitate a little bit. And it takes some of the stress off of Bryce McGowens. And Tominaga just had this great stretch for the Japan 3-on-3 team, and I understand 3-on-3 is not the same as what you're going to get for college basketball. But if you got a guy who can go play at that stage, I'm guessing he's not going to be worried when he's at State Farm Arena playing Illinois. I think that there's something to be said. I don't know what Casey Tominaga
There was
is
no
going to give you.
Kofi Coburn at this at the 3-on-3.
You know who's
he's back.
Thrilled Kofi Coburn doesn't have to take on Lat Mayhem anymore. Remember when Lat was just terrorizing his life according to Big Ten announcers?
Yeah, that's right.
All of all of 210 of Lat versus the bull that is Kofi Coburn.
Yes.
So where did he transfer? Do we know? Is he still in the portal?
Who?
Coburn.
No, he's back in Illinois. He's back. He entered. He put his name in the portal,
and then he went back to Illinois.
Back. Yeah, he's back.
See, I missed that. That was at the end of.
Yeah, that probably happened in July when you were gone.
Well, it is still July. July feels like it's been 14.
Mid-July.
July feels like it's been 14 weeks, and even though it's really only been 4.
No, Coburn announced probably 2 weeks ago that he was coming back to Illinois.
Okay.
They were in his top 3, and he decided to come back there. I'm leaving. You'll be in my top 3. Oh, by the way, I'm coming back. Hello, everybody.
Okay. So he's back.
He's back. Yep.
So then Lat Mayhem can go against Kofi Coburn.
Yeah, he will. I'm excited. So you mentioned Alonzo Verge. I'm excited about him. I think he's a guy that he was 6th man of the year last year at Arizona State in the Pac-12. So he's got potential, and maybe I'd assume he would start here. That's my guess. I don't know if you go from Arizona State, Power 5 school, to Nebraska, a struggling Big Ten school, to do the same role for a team that was actually not that bad last year at Arizona State.
I think it sort of depends on whatever it is that the Hoiberg wants to get out of him. Like, does he want him to be a scoring unit for the second group, or does he want him to be sort of the facilitator, because then it allows the McGowans to not have to worry about bringing the ball up the court as much, because you get another guard in there, and then you go.
Well, Verge can score though. He can go high.
Right. So you go Verge, McGowans, Lat, Walker, or I don't know exactly.
There's some steam that Eduardo Andre might be pushing for a starting.
Andre, huh?
I've been hearing he's had a really good practice session the last month or so, and that he's putting on weight. Obviously, he said it's hard. He said it's very hard to gain weight, which is
no, it's not.
Which made people very upset to hear that. I was like, oh, it's freaking hard, man. Really? To eat?
It's
hard to eat.
I just got done with the honeymoon. I don't think anything fits the same, so I don't think it's hard to gain weight at all. I have Jeff from Farrell's just hounding me, and he's right. I need to get back in. Rico's just killing it.
Yeah, it sounds like Rico's killing it. Yeah,
he's like a Farrell superstar.
That's what I've been hearing.
So, yeah, Eduardo Andre, I wish I could feel your pain in terms of
it's hard to
having
eat so much
to gain
all this weight. I'm optimistic about him.
I kind of thought that Walker would end up starting because they play pretty well.
There's still a great chance he's starting, but I'm saying that I'm hearing there's a strong push for Andre, which is a good thing, which means you've got 2 quality bigs now on the team.
Which is more quality bigs than they're used to having.
And you just yesterday, Schaefer, you got information that Oleg Koyanets has made his way to campus, the 7-footer. I don't think he'll play this year.
No.
He looks pretty thin from what I saw in the picture, but you got a 7-footer that's in the building. He has made his way to campus. Now the only one not here is Tominaga, who is making his way soon from the Olympics.
Right. And and then there's still some other. You have Edwards, who's coming in from DePaul. You have Wilcher coming in from Xavier. I mean, the contacts that I have that cover Xavier basketball felt like he was sort of the next big piece at Xavier, and he had to play out of position last year. His numbers didn't look very good, but he started to kind of figure it out towards the end because he was playing a 4. I mean, he was 6'5" playing a stretch 4, and so I think that Wilcher is certainly someone to keep an eye on. And then you have Kareem McPherson promising to bring ferocious defense. You have Kobe Webster with what I assume will be an off-the-bench scoring role. I mean, I like the way that this team has kind of come together, and the pieces that you don't have, you lose Thor, okay, hustle, energy. Maybe you can get that from somewhere else. You lose Delano Banton, oozing with potential, but never really felt like he fit with what Fred Hoiberg wanted to do on offense. Teddy Allen's gone. Think that one's probably for the best as well. It doesn't feel like what they lost is irreplaceable, and it just feels like they're deeper now than what I'm accustomed to with Nebraska basketball.
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal. You want to have depth. You're sick of having the starters be where everything's at, and then you're scared to go to the bench. But, yeah, they have, you would think, up to 9-10 guys you're pretty comfortable in or pretty confident that can contribute to the team. So they just, we talked about a little bit while you were gone again how the schedule came out, the non-con schedule, and it's not tough. You got Creighton early on, and Connor Happer's telling you that Nebraska should beat them. Creighton has lost everybody. They have talent coming in, but everybody's gone.
There was a dead blue jay in my yard. I feel like that's a good sign.
That's a sign?
I think that's a good sign.
Was it Slider?
No, I don't know that it was Slider. Slider does not spend much time in the front yard. I was mowing, and then I had to come to a quick stop because I saw this
You mowed over the blue jay.
Well, no, I didn't mow over the blue jay, but I almost mowed over the blue jay, which would have been disastrous.
Yeah.
Not because any sort of feeling for the blue jay that's already dead, but just would have been very messy and gross.
Yeah, I would want to clean that up.
But it was just dead laying in my yard. So,
well,
I just felt like that's a good sign for Nebraska.
Well, they should. I'm not saying it's hard to say they should beat a team that went to the Sweet 16, but that team lost every starter.
It's a dubious Sweet 16.
That's right. Don't. Yeah, exactly.
I never give them the satisfaction on it.
I'm glad you say that. Because I hate Creighton, as we all know. But no, you can beat them early on, and then if you beat them, hey, you got a bunch of kind of slough teams out there that have beaten you before in the past. We've lost to Sanford, Incarnate Word, and Gardner-Webb. So you're never safe against the easy teams.
Those are different teams.
I know, but you would hope that would build up enough confidence and momentum that they can have a pretty good record. Then you play Auburn in the non-con as well.
Yeah, that could be a good game.
Bruce Pearl, in his suit, whatever.
So you're down in the Kool-Aid.
I wouldn't say that. I'm sipping the Kool-Aid. I'm not chugging.
I can see you got a little red off to the corners of your mouth because you're drinking it a little fast and you're chugging. You're chugging.
No, what I'm chugging is yesterday was the start of training camp for NFL, and all these Dolphins reports. I'm chugging Kool-Aid there.
Yeah,
We're gonna beat Mahomes.
You're excited to get like a first-round pick for another cornerback that doesn't want to play on your team.
Maybe 2 first-round picks. I'll take it. Hey, we got a guy, Noah Igbenogany from Auburn. Just mentioned that.
Pronounce that name again.
No, I got it. It's Noah Igbenogany. He was a first-round pick 2 years ago, pick number 30.
That did not sound like a real name.
No, it's real.
If you say that's the accurate pronunciation.
I'll say it again. Noah is his first name.
Okay.
Noah.
Well, Noah, I think sounds like a real name.
N-O-A-H, and then I don't know how to spell it, but it's Igbenogany.
Okay. All right.
I assure you I have that pronunciation 1,000% correct.
All right.
If there's any Auburn fans out there that want to try to, they're listening to this show or watching this show for some reason, hello if you are.
Recruiting hour, very big for Auburn.
Very big in Auburn.
We don't talk a lot of Micah Riley Ducker, but when we do, the Auburn fans are listening.
They tune in. They're all over the place. But I got that one right.
All right. Let's take a break. We're going to come back. We'll have Mike Sauter on. We'll get into his thoughts from the Warren Academy Future 50. We'll get his thoughts on his own Media Day event that he is setting up. NEB Preps is spearheading Media Day events throughout the state. Pretty cool idea from him. We'll get the latest with Isaac Trout and with basketball. And so we're going to do that next here on the Recruiting Hour.
You're listening to the Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The decision to replace your air conditioner will save or waste money for 15 to 20 years. Bryant offers some of the most efficient ACs available, up to 26 here. Schedule your free estimate at BryantLincoln.com.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Texas draws almost 100,000 people a game, okay?
It's a lot of people.
Oklahoma draws 85,000 people a game. After that, what is it? It's Iowa State. It's West Virginia. You know what they draw? In the 50s. Mm-hmm. I mean, what is the Big 12 without Oklahoma and Texas? And who could the Big 12 possibly go get, realistically, that would bring that sort of weight?
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning.
Summertime is here and the temperature is rising. Beat the heat at the Pawnee Plunge Water Park in Columbus all summer long. Pawnee Plunge features a full day of fun for the whole family, including the Flow Rider, the only one in Nebraska, a large swimming pool, diving boards, a lazy river, climbing wall, and of course, massive water slides. It's a great place for parties or a great spot to lounge around all day long. Book your party by calling 402-562-4269. Come splash and play the Pawnee Plunge Way in Columbus from May 31st through August 8th. Mike Schaefer here with 5-star child care provider Lee Beecher from Bubbles and Blocks. Let's start with what makes Bubbles and Blocks special.
We have 3 beautiful locations in Lincoln that provide the safety, security, and reliability you need while also bringing a family feel to each classroom at every location.
I also hear some congratulations are in order.
Thank you. Yes, we just won the Lincoln Choice Award for Best Daycare and Preschool for the 3rd year in a row.
What should people do if they want to join the Bubbles and Blocks family?
Call to set up a tour to enroll your child today, or you can visit bubblesandblocks.com to apply to join our team.
Take a look at your backyard. Does it feel like something is missing? You're right. Now is the perfect time to get an above-ground swimming pool from Bonsall Pool & Spa. Above-ground pools require less space than in-ground pools, are temporary structures if you ever choose to move, and are low maintenance. Plus, you'll never have to worry about the kids getting bored in the summertime anymore. Visit BonsallPool.com to schedule a pool service or visit them at 33rd and Highway 2. Bonsall Pool & Spa.
Hey sports fans, Rico here with HIS Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. Carfax recently awarded us as a top-rated auto service center for 2020, and Lincoln Choice Awards voted us as the 2021 top independent auto repair center. Call us at 402-488-8934 for superior service bumper to bumper. Mention this ad and get 7% off. Doesn't get any better than that. Rico for his Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Get in, get out, and get your hands on a great career. Did you know Southeast Community College offers short-term training in almost 20 programs of study? That means you can get your certificate at SCC and get right to work without spending years in school. You can train at one of our 3 campus locations in Beatrice, Lincoln, or Milford, or our 6 learning centers across Southeast Nebraska. If you want to find your next step, visit southeast.edu/academics. SCC, your path to possible.
Back to the Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer. Presented by Bubbles and Blocks. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the Recruiting Hour. Mike Schaefer, Jake Sorensen sitting in here today in Lincoln. But yesterday, I had the privilege, the honor, the distinction to spend some time with Mike Sauter, who was busy doing his thing at the Warren Academy Future 50. Mike, how's it going?
It's going. Hey, Shape, it wasn't that much time, so let's calm down on the excitement level here.
Well, I mean, you popped in, you showed your face on the stream. I mean, you were right there as we were live on the radio. I thought yesterday's event was great. I really enjoyed it. It was fun to be able to knock out some interviews and talk to some of these kids all in one spot. It was nice to meet a kid like Mac Owens, great kid. He was telling me that he wants to go into business and marketing, and then we got into a discussion about NIL, and he's a guy that, he's going to make that work for him, wherever he ends up at. And he was a really interesting kid, and I hope the best for him. And I had some really good conversations with some different players, and I'm sure you did as well. I thought that event went very well yesterday.
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, it's a new spin on a showcase, if you will. Steve and I are friends, and I think we all kind of are, right? And he talked to me about the idea a few months ago, and I was like, yeah, do that. The last thing these kids need right now, football players especially, in their 40 or do another vertical jump or do another short shuttle, they don't need to do it at this point. What they do need maybe some help with is, how to manage name, image, and likeness when that comes for them, or when that time comes for them. What they do maybe need some more experience at is interviewing and how to answer questions and all of that, because in high school, there is no class you can take to help you with that stuff. It's either you got it or you don't. And a lot of that comes from experience. So the more experience they can get, the better. So it was really good. It was a unique spin, and pretty good day. And everyone kind of that was invited, I think, besides maybe one, showed up. So
yeah.
Good.
It was very well attended. A couple of the guys I talked to that really stood out, and they're not, I'm not pulling these names from deep. I mean, they're the pretty obvious ones. But Maverick Noonan, I guess, Mike, I didn't know this, and you can chalk this up to me being stupid or whatever, but I didn't realize Nebraska was viewing him as an outside linebacker. I thought he was going to be built up to sort of be a 3-4 defensive end, and it turns out they like him as an outside linebacker. I mean, one, is this just common knowledge and I'm dumb? And then two, how do you sort of see that for him as a pass rusher at the next level?
He for sure is a pass rusher, no doubt. I think he's in the mold of a of a Garrett Nelson.
Okay.
Probably, but and I love this is. He's probably a little bit better as a prospect at this stage in his high school career than what Garrett was at the same stage. Going into his junior year is what I mean.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Not a knock on Garrett at all. But he's just farther ahead right now. Part of that is because his dad is Danny freaking Noonan and could still play right now if he wanted to, probably. So that's interesting. So
yeah, and
have you ever seen his dad? So his dad and him do. His dad is the person he works out with.
Right. Yeah, you told us about the power suit and all of those things, and obviously, the other kind of unsung thing about this is you got to spend most of last year going up against guys like Teddy Prohaska, which is only going to help you, overall. Even if Teddy is still a work on his own end. I mean, just from the high school standpoint of you're going against a guy that big, and you have to be able to get off of him to get to the quarterback every day at practice. I mean, that had to be very helpful, and it sounded like it was. Yeah. My question to you, Mike, I mean, it sounds like I kind of thought he was going to be more of a regional guy. At this point, it feels like he's getting on some nibbles from some Notre Dame and Oklahoma. I mean, we could be talking about another one of these guys that sort of has a bunch of opportunities to leave the Midwest if he wants.
Yeah, I think more of those will just keep coming too. He obviously went to Iowa State on Sunday. He's been to Notre Dame's camp. I think he'll explore options, but at the end of the day, now we're talking, this is probably a year down the road, probably 10 months down the road before he makes a decision, I would imagine. It could be sooner, but I would think he's going to take his time. I think he ends up staying around kind of locally, but that's just my read on it. I haven't talked to him or his parents about it at all. But that's just my read. He's got a chance to kind of get a lot more national attention here in the next 8-10 months, and I think that deservedly so. I think he's fantastic. I love the kid.
Another kid I know that you love, and then I just every time I see him, he just looks even more physically put together. Davon Hall, I think he's 15 years old. I mean, he looked like he was every bit the equal of some of these guys that are going into their senior years, and he's just going into his sophomore year. Every time I interview that kid, I walk away thinking like how impressive he is. And then I think about like how rich Bellevue West is with all the weapons they have. But this is a guy that's going to step in for Keegan Johnson and try to replace that production.
Yeah, he for a 15-year-old, he is extremely polished.
Yep.
Like
you want to talk about knowing how to do interviews? He's going to take He's going to take our radio segments, Mike. Like he could just have our jobs.
I know he is. I don't know. Maybe that comes from so he did a lot of camp. Him and Daniel Kaelin are really good friends, and they grew up together and just hanging out together and going to camps all over and all that. So maybe that's part of it, or maybe he's just a special guy. Where he learned that sort of skill. But he is extremely polished. I look back at, was it 2 years ago now? I wrote something when I was at the other place. I wrote something on him before his freshman year because he was going to be a starting wide receiver as a freshman at Bellevue West, not Bellevue West of 15 years ago, right? Like this Bellevue West.
Yep.
And he was, really, really nervous. I could tell at that point. He has come so far in just the interactions from before his freshman year. So he should be in that Keegan Johnson role. You're right. Another guy in that kind of role that I think is going to have a really big year for them is TK Barnett. He's likely probably going to be the other outside receiver for Bellevue West. I think that's pretty much a given right now. And TK actually transferred from Bellevue East for football reasons. Basically, his parents had to move to get that done, but they did. So TK Barnett, name to kind of remember this fall because I think he's going to have a huge year.
Excellent.
But Davon is really, like, for a 15-year-old, he's pretty impressive. One, physically, and two, just his maturity level is pretty high. Higher than most seniors and even some of his teammates.
Unfortunately, we're a little short on time. I got one more person I want to ask you about, and we're switching sports entirely here. Just if you could quickly, what's the latest that you know with Isaac Trout and how things kind of sit for him? And is there any sort of timeline that you're aware of?
Yeah, no timeline. I've been trying to talk to him every day this week and just can't. He's at the NBA Players Association Top 100 camp this week. It's in Orlando. He's there. He, I wanted to chat with him about, those questions. And he gets 5 more official visits. It'll be interesting to see who he picks for those 5. I think he'll probably go back to a couple of places. I think he might pick Creighton as one of those places. I'm sure he'll go back to Virginia. I'm sure he'll go back to Michigan State and Carolina. Nebraska, he's taken an official too. He might just do an unofficial, like, Saturday game day thing. But Gonzaga, Texas offered last week, and Gonzaga is really, really close. And they've had multiple conversations with him. And
that Nebraska to Gonzaga pipeline.
Yeah, if Gonzaga happens, I think we might it might be the end of it for him. So,
fair. That's
and
fair.
Everybody else trying to recruit him.
Right.
So, yeah, it hasn't happened yet, but it's, they've definitely had, he's talked to Mark Few, right, multiple times. So, yeah.
Just incredible. Mike, we appreciate your time as always. We'll catch up with you again next week. We're getting closer and closer to high school football kicking off as well. We know Nebraska, their season gets underway. They'll start fall camp here on Friday, but high schools, we're getting there within, 10 days or so?
August 9th. High school
right
football
there.
Practice starts.
Right there. All right, Mike, we appreciate it. We'll catch up with you again next week.
Yep.
Mike Sauter, NEB Preps, great stuff as always. We got to go. When we come back, we will get into a little NFL talk. Finish up the show. Jake will try to convince us that the Dolphins do have offensive players. I don't know.
I'll do it.
I'm not buying it.
You're listening to the Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I don't know about you guys, but I have been getting back out and hitting different restaurants, hitting different places, and I could not be more excited to get back to Bearshin in Benson, one of the best beer gardens around. The weather's starting to get good, and coinciding with that, they are going back to their full food menu. We're talking the burgers, the Johnny Hammer Pants sandwich, the pretzels, the fries, the salads, if you're one of those people. They got all of it, and they are now open Tuesday through Sunday. That allows you to get over to Bearshin, check out the food, the beer, hang out in the beer garden. You can get that $7 Big Cheese Double Wagyu Burger Special on Tuesdays. Also, happy hour, 3 to 6, Tuesday through Friday. Don't miss it. Plus, if you're a soccer fan, it's the place to be in Benson.
Take a look at your backyard. Does it feel like something is missing? You're right. Now is the perfect time to get an above-ground swimming pool from Bonsall Pool & Spa. Above-ground pools require less space than in-ground pools, are temporary structures if you ever choose to move, and are low maintenance. Plus, you'll never have to worry about the kids getting bored in the summertime anymore. Visit BonsallPool.com to schedule a pool service or visit them at 33rd and Highway 2. Bonsall Pool & Spa.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank. A relationship you can count on.
The heat and humidity lingers on. A heat advisory in effect this afternoon. We will top out near 97. It will feel closer to 105. And just a very slim chance of an isolated thunderstorm developing. Mainly clear tonight, a low of 72. Another warm day tomorrow, but slightly better with a high of 91. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The decision to replace your air conditioner will save or waste money for 15 to 20 years. Bryant offers some of the most efficient ACs available, up to 26 SEER. Schedule your free estimate at BryantLincoln.com.
Hello, Charlie Stone here, and joining me is Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, are you there?
I sure am, Charlie. Great to talk to you again.
Andy, I know you're selling a lot of cars right now, but I hear you still have a lot of cars available.
We do, Charlie. In fact, we still have over 500 new 2021 Hondas to choose from in stock or on the way, with 0% APR financing available on select models.
What about new 2022 Hondas, Andy?
You know, we actually have quite a few in stock already, and they're arriving every day.
Now, I'm going to assume since you're selling a lot of new cars, you have some great trade-ins available too. How is the selection of pre-owned?
It's the largest selection of pre-owned we've ever had, Charlie, with over 160 to choose from. People can choose from just about any make and model you can imagine.
Thanks, Andy. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Texas draws almost 100,000 people a game, okay?
It's a lot of people.
Oklahoma draws 85,000 people a game. After that, what is it? It's Iowa State. It's West Virginia. You know what they draw? In the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what is the Big 12 without Oklahoma and Texas? And who could the Big 12 possibly go get, realistically, that would bring that sort of weight?
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning.
At Buffalo Wings and Rings, they've crafted a new league of superior chicken sandwiches. Meet the Ringers. It's premium, house-made, beer-battered, fried chicken served Buffalo, Korean, or MVP style. Head to Buffalo Wings and Rings Lincoln and raise a glass to superior chicken. 2 locations at 68th and O and at 40th and Old Cheney. Buffalo Wings and Rings.
What are you doing, Sip?
I thought the chickens could use some more light in their lives.
So you're building what exactly?
It's a motion-censored switchboard. Duh.
Are you sure you know what you're doing?
Of course. Ow! God! Ow!
Seems like a job for a professional.
Just one more wire. Yep, there you go, right there.
Don't be like Sip. Call Joe at Ambition Electric for any of your electric needs at 402-217-3415.
Now that Ken Richards has purchased Brokers Agency, he and his professional staff will continue to provide their clients with the same excellent service under the Brokers Insurance Agency name. Brokers Insurance Agency works with more than 15 companies to help find the best policy for you to avoid any long hassles. Also, if you're looking to get into the insurance business as an independent agent, they have the formula to make that process smooth and successful. Call Ken with Brokers Insurance Agency today at 402-420-5353 or visit brokersinsuranceNE.com.
Back to the Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer. Presented by Bubbles and Blocks. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the Recruiting Hour. Thank you to Mike Sauter for joining us, as always, from NEB Preps. Good stuff there. Sorensen mentioned at the end of our kind of conversation about Nebraska basketball that the thing that he's just gulping down at this point.
Gulping is the word.
In terms of Kool-Aid is about his Miami Dolphins and the NFL season that is ahead. The training camps have started around the league. Aaron Rodgers is doing Aaron Rodgers stuff where he acts like he definitely didn't spend the last, 5 months pretending like he wasn't going to play for the Packers, and then now claims it was all a media creation. So always fun, always cool. We can try to avoid some Aaron Rodgers talk here, though.
You love Aaron Rodgers. Big fan.
I find him massively annoying, and then I was given the small glimmer of hope that he wouldn't be in my division anymore, but he went and ruined that. So congrats to the
That's
Packers.
Too good to be true.
Very excited for them to experience another playoff loss with Aaron Rodgers and then blame it on everyone else. That's what they do best. Looking forward to that in January. That'll be a lot of fun. Before we get there, though, this upcoming NFL season, do you feel like the Dolphins have a chance to win the AFC East? Do you think that they could be – because the Bills are very good.
Yeah, the Bills, I hate to say it, are a problem.
We don't know what the Jets are. We're assuming bad.
The Jets are bad. The Patriots, I still don't think they're great.
They spent a lot of money on players that I didn't think were that good.
Yeah, they did. I'm like, okay, this guy is a dude. I guess he's okay. There's a 17-game schedule now. Don't forget that. 17
I hate
games.
this.
I do too. You can't.
I don't hate it.
The
for
Dolphins can't go 8-8 anymore.
The only reason I really hate it is I can't just rely on like random. 3 teams are going to go 10-6. 3 teams are going 11-5. You can't do that anymore. Now you have to actually math it up.
Change is hard, Mike.
I'm not great with change.
So the Dolphins, I'm hoping can get to 11 wins. It's probably optimistic. 11-6 is probably too much. I'm frankly still not sold on Tua at all. I know that you tried to tell me last year that Tua's your guy. You're a big believer. I'm curious where that has changed as the season's over compared to where you were to begin last season. If that's changed as a Tua supporter that you have been.
He wasn't as good as I thought he was going to be, but he was still just in his first year. I mean, I think that we'll see what it looks like for Tua in year 2. Obviously, you're mostly offended that they could have had Ryan Tannehill and or not Tannehill, excuse me. I
Justin Herbert.
Completely combined Ryan Tannehill and Justin Herbert.
I didn't want Justin Herbert, and I regret that. That was my bad. I was the leader of the Don't Get Herbert fan club.
We'll see what Justin Herbert and the Chargers are as well, but I think Tua can be solid. Part of me wonders if they're willing to allow him to open things up a little bit, but they don't have that great of skill position players around him. I know. Here's where you're going to tell me all about their award-winning tight ends and everything there.
They have about 8 tight ends on the team. Including the great Mike Gesicki.
Nobody cares about Mike Gesicki unless they're in a fantasy league and they need to stream a tight end at the end of the week, and then he's available.
Don't forget Hunter Long, just drafted from Boston College.
Less people care about Hunter
Durham
Long than
Smythe,
they do.
of course. Adam Shaheen. I got all sorts of tight ends in the Dolphins. This is the problem.
They have no
What
running
you
back.
just said scares me about go back a minute ago to Tua. You said, I think he can be solid. I don't want him to be solid. I want him to be great.
How could he be great when he has no great players around him on offense?
Schaefer,
name one great offense that has no other great players.
Okay, here's the great players on the Dolphins.
Miles Gaskins?
Did I say him? I like Miles Gaskins,
I'm
by
just
the way.
naming the players anyone knows. Waddle?
Should I get okay? Jalen Waddle.
Okay.
Fast.
Rookie receivers other than Justin Jefferson don't have a great track record of being fantastic in their first year.
Well, this one will be. So,
Okay, all right.
Number 2, a guy named Will Fuller is on the Dolphins now. A burner.
How many games are you getting out of Will Fuller?
We're going to get at least 12. At least 12. Yeah. Number 3, Devontae Parker is still on the Miami Dolphins.
He's already hurt.
He's out for it's a tweak.
He's already hurt.
It's nothing major. They said it's nothing major. He's just trying to be.
Those are 3 solid wide
Mike
receivers.
Gesicki is a great tight end.
No, he's fine.
I'm hearing a lot of people that are very high on Myles Gaskin.
You said you weren't going to mention him. You lied.
The Dolphins now have Malcolm Brown from the Rams from last year.
I actually like Malcolm Brown.
Yeah, he'd be a backup.
Yeah.
Still have, some back. They got Savon Ahmed, who had a nice couple games last year.
Yeah. I feel like you're now selling yourself.
I'm telling you, the Dolphins, the team seems to be very high on Myles Gaskin. And Myles Gaskin actually finished last year very, very strong. He had the great game against the Raiders when he had 2 big touchdowns there to help them win late in the game. He was good against the Patriots.
Is that the game that the Dolphins won because Fitzpatrick blindly threw it in the air?
Maybe a top 5 moment in my entire lifetime as a Dolphins fan. I'm watching that game at a bar in Yankton, South Dakota.
Yankton.
And I'm like, well, the Dolphins, if you win the game, you still have a chance in the playoffs. And if you lose, you're done. And the Raiders are the same way. If they lose the game, they're out. If they win, they have a small chance, but they're probably still out. And everything is against the Dolphins. And all of a sudden, Fitzpatrick is getting his face yanked, chucks it to the sideline, and somehow the Raiders are so stupid. They left Matt Collins, who's wide open, and then you tack on 15 yards with a face mask. Jason Sanders, best kicker in the NFL. Take that, Justin Tucker. Makes a field goal, and big win.
Oh,
I was like screaming in this bar in Yankton. I hugged everybody.
So maybe the Dolphins are a wild card team. Maybe.
I would take that. That means Tua is respectable then.
So Bills, Ravens, Chiefs, those are the heavy favorites at this point. I feel like the AFC is significantly better than the NFC. I just do.
Quickly, I just saw this on Twitter regarding Will Fuller.
Oh, no! Oh, no!
This is from Armando Salguero of the Miami Herald. Will Fuller, who left practice yesterday, is, quote, dealing with something, end quote, and may not practice today, per Flores.
Shucks. The guy who's always hurt is hurt.
Well, listen, I was like, he's fast. He makes plays, but he also plays half the season, so.
Well, you just got to get the right half.
Made it glass. Okay, back to what you said. You were talking about the Bills.
Yeah, so the Bills, Chiefs, Ravens, they're the heavy favorites for the AFC, right?
Yeah, is there anybody missing in that conversation?
Maybe the Colts.
No.
With
Carson Wentz.
I
don't put them there either. I mean, the Titans got to be in that conversation.
Titans could be in that conversation, especially now with Julio Jones.
Yeah, Julio and A.J. Brown. That sounds pretty.
Probably the Titans are the fourth team.
Titans are probably
so they're the four teams. It feels like they're going to win their divisions. Potentially, we'll see the AFC North is always up for grabs. And then the NFC, just, the Rams with Matt Stafford. We'll see how that goes. The 49ers, a healthy Jimmy Garoppolo and a healthy offense. Maybe they're back to what they were 2 years ago. Beyond that, like, the Packers will be the Packers. They'll win 11 games. They'll go to the playoffs. And then you have the Bucks. And I don't know what the Saints are. It's just a weird – it feels like all the fun teams are in the AFC and all the interesting teams are in the AFC and all the old quarterbacks are in the NFC. Like, that's just kind of how it feels like.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect out of the NFC this year. I mean, you expect the Bucks to be good again, even though Brady's 100 years old, but it looks like he's still 30. The Packers will be pretty good, I'm sure. They bring him, although they're doing this weird thing of bringing the band back together. I mean, Randall Cobb's old now.
Yeah,
I don't get. Like,
I'm okay with every move.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Making.
Bring back Randall Cobb, 95-year-old Randall Cobb.
There's like an outside chance that there's 3 teams that go 9-8 or 10-7.
Nice catch there. 17-game schedule.
Yeah. In the NFC North this year. The Vikings will be okay, the Bears will be okay, and the Packers will be
I got the Vikings at 9.
The Lions and your Dan Campbell are going to be terrible. So.
Dan Campbell probably 2-15 this year.
And fired, so.
He's going to bring a lion into practice, though. He wants to ride a lion into practice.
All right. That's enough of that. We appreciate you sitting in, Jake. It was a good spirited discussion as well. Continue to drink the Kool-Aid. Enjoy the basketball offseason. The next time that we do this, or even really the next time I appear on your show, we'll be like a week into fall camp. We'll have real fall camp stories to talk about, whatever those are. It'll be nice. It feels like football season is here. We once again survived another off season.
Way to go, us.
Congratulations to us and to our listeners. We'll be back tomorrow. Remember, special 4-hour opening splash. Get to the Pawnee Plunge. Join us, America's Best Water Park. We will be there 2 to 6 tomorrow. The drive is next. Summertime is here and the temperature is rising. Beat the heat at the Pawnee Plunge Water Park in Columbus all summer long. Pawnee Plunge features a full day of fun for the whole family, including the Flow Rider, the only one in Nebraska, a large swimming pool, diving boards, a lazy river, climbing wall, and of course, massive water slides. It's a great place for parties or a great spot to lounge around all day long. Book your party by calling 402-562-4269. Come splash and play the Pawnee Plunge Way in Columbus from May 31st through August 8th.
What are you doing, Sip?
I thought the chickens could use some more light in their lives.
So you're building what exactly?
It's a motion-censored switchboard. Duh.
Are you sure you know what you're doing?
Of course. Ow! God! Ow!
Seems like a job for a professional.
Just one more wire. Yep, there you go, right there.
Don't be like Sip. Call Joe at Ambition Electric for any of your electric needs at 402-217-3415.
Did you know Myers Cork and Bottle offers complete beverage catering and bartending services for everything from tailgates to weddings? Learn more at MyersWine.com or by calling the shop at 476-1518. And don't miss Thirsty Thursday with Kevin Meyer, Thursdays at 4:30 on The Drive.
Mike Schaefer here with 5-star child care provider Lee Beecher from Bubbles and Blocks. Let's start with what makes Bubbles and Blocks special.
We have 3 beautiful locations in Lincoln that provide the safety, security, and reliability you need while also bringing a family feel to each classroom at every location.
I also hear some congratulations are in order.
Thank you. Yes, we just won the Lincoln Choice Award for Best Daycare and Preschool for the 3rd year in a row.
What should people do if they want to join the Bubbles and Blocks family?
Call to set up a tour to enroll your child today, or you can visit bubblesandblocks.com to apply to join our team.
At Buffalo Wings and Rings, they've crafted a new league of superior chicken sandwiches. Meet the Ringers. It's premium, house-made, beer-battered, fried chicken served buffalo, Korean, or MVP style. Head to Buffalo Wings and Rings Lincoln and raise a glass to superior chicken. 2 locations at 68th and O and at 40th and Old Cheney. Buffalo Wings and Rings. Take a look at your backyard. Does it feel like something is missing? You're right. Now is the perfect time to get an above-ground swimming pool from Bonsall Pool and Spa. Above-ground pools require less space than in-ground pools, are temporary structures if you ever choose to move, and are low maintenance. Plus, you'll never have to worry about the kids getting bored in the summertime anymore. Visit BonsallPool.com to schedule a pool service or visit them at 33rd and Highway 2. Bonsall Pool and Spa.
Right now, Allstate has almost as many ways to save as there are types of music. Save for being a new